This is NewsCenter1 at 10.
Monday night, and we begin with a question. What do you get when you combine sanctions against Russia and supply chain issues? The answer is rising costs for South Dakota farmers. Nitrogen fertilizer is not only getting more difficult to find, but it is a lot more expensive when you do find it. NewsCenter1's Darsha Nelson on why all of us need to pay attention to this.
It's dramatically increased. You know, we have just say urea going from $450 a ton to $850 and $950 a ton, and so it's clearly a double, if not maybe more, in some locations.
Agriculture is South Dakota's #1 industry, and while the state's farmers aren't necessarily having difficulty finding fertilizer, the cost increase is noticeable. According to the U.S. government Federal Register, the price of nitrogen fertilizer jumped 95% in 2021, likely due to high transportation costs and supply chain issues brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Another factor, the cost of natural gas. Natural gas plays a major role in the production of nitrogen fertilizer, and its price increased due to weather and coal production in 2021. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine also a contributor. According to the United Nations Food and Ag Organization, Russia was the #1 exporter of nitrogen fertilizer in 2021, and the #2 exporter of potassic and phosphorus fertilizers.
I think the price is the bigger issue, and supply could become the bigger issue this fall or next year. It's a complicated pipeline, and you got to put product in that pipeline months in advance of it getting to its final destination.
Bly says don't be anxious, but be educated and prepared.
It's so important to know what it costs your farm to produce a bushel of wheat or a bushel of corn or whatever you're producing, and then what part of those production costs is fertilizer. And if you know those things and you're still profitable, you can make better decisions.
And while the trickle down to consumers is a lengthy process, if the increases continue, it'll likely be felt in the supermarket.
Farmers always know that once prices go up, they rarely come down, or they come down very slowly. And I think consumers know that as well.
In Rapid City, Darsha Nelson, NewsCenter1.
Well, the ag folks need rain. We all need rain. We need precipitation. But first, Brant, we've got to get through a little bit of wind.
Yes, that's been the story. It feels like over the entire winter, everyone's asking me, is it been windier? It feels like it's been windier. Yes, it has, by a lot. And we've been looking at red flag warnings for tomorrow. So the dry conditions continue with this as well. The good news is that later on this week, we have another chance, much like we did last week, to see a storm system bring some much needed moisture to the area. But with that, may have some problems as well. So it's going to be a busy week. Let's start with tonight. 35 degrees in Rapid City, looking east-southeast winds right around 10 to 15 miles per hour. Some gusts up to 25. We're looking at across the state here and not seeing much of anything in the way of precipitation. Had a little bit yesterday across some portions of South Dakota. Now it's in Iowa, stretching eastward, bringing snow to portions of Indiana and Illinois. Some people waking up surprised in late April. It's not surprising for us, but for out there, it is a little surprising this time of year. Red flag warnings. That's going to include Rapid City and areas south of Rapid City, Fall River County, Dakota County, Custer County, portions of northeastern Wyoming. Critical fire conditions for tomorrow afternoon from 12 o'clock to about 7 p.m. Low relative humidity, warm temperature, seeing a possibility of maybe even some mid-70s. Mid to upper 70s at that. We're going to talk about this storm system for later on this week that could be bringing us some relief coming up on NewsCenter1.